What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I've got another one with the Gladiator. And if you guys watched the last two videos, then we did just recently take the Gladiator off-road for the first time, and we had a good time with it. And today I'm basically gonna explain to you guys what I liked, what I didn't like, the features that I really enjoyed over my TJ, as well as let's go over all the damage. And I guess we'll go over the damage at the end. First, let's go over the things that I liked and that I didn't like. Now, it's easier for me to actually go over and explain what I didn't like first, because there's less things that I didn't like than there are things that I did like. Because honestly, this thing is a lot better and excuse me, a world of a difference from my TJ. It is so much more comfortable, so much more reliable, so much more capable. Even in its stock form, even though it is a land yacht and it is basically a trail limo, like, this thing is not short. It has the longest wheelbase out of all the Jeeps that you can get. And yeah, honestly, it did great. It really surprised me at how well it did. It was really capable. It did climbs a lot better than it did descents, just because of that tail end. So when you were coming down something, you definitely wanted to take it easy. But when you were doing a climb, that length actually helped you out a lot, because what happened was the back wheels would plant themselves, the front would crawl up, and then once the front pretty much did all the climbing that it needed to do and it was at the top, the back would just kind of walk its way back up there and follow the front. And as long as you take it easy and actually take a good line, then it is super easy, and it actually goes super well. And I have some good videos for you guys, so if you guys definitely want to see it go off-road and see how it did, then check out my last two videos if you haven't already. But today, let's go over a few of the features that I didn't enjoy. So one of the first things that I didn't enjoy is the front-facing camera. It doesn't really show you depth. It shows you, like, I'll turn it on for you guys. It shows you guys basically the terrain and where your tires are going to be and the rocks and everything like that. So it's great for that, but it doesn't show depth. So it doesn't show you like where the drop off is. It doesn't show you how big that rock is, really. Like, the perception isn't there. So what I use it for basically is I scan the terrain and pick my line, and I make sure that I'm on the correct path by looking at the trail camera and watching the two like markers where your tires are going to be, to see if I'm hitting where I want to be, so that I'm not off course. Because with a larger vehicle, you can't see directly in front of you. You can see maybe like a few feet ahead or a meter ahead or a yard ahead, but you can't see what's directly in front of you. So the camera helps for that. So here is the front camera, and you can see there is my brother's car in the garage. But you can see if you're looking out the hood, and even if you want to sit as high and as close as you can, like, you can see, like, you guys are right in the windshield, like right in the windshield. That's all you get to see. With this, you get to see a lot more. Like, you get this entire area here that you wouldn't normally get to see just by sticking your head above the windshield or even out the window. And what I love about this is being able to actually see where your tires are going to be and where they're going to go. What I don't like about this is you don't really get to judge how deep or how much of a drop something is, or how big a rock is, or how big of an incline something is. But like I said, this isn't meant to be your eyes, your entire eyes. You're not supposed to be staring at the screen. This is just an aid. Just like when you're parking your vehicle and you're using your reverse camera, you're not supposed to use this to get into the spot and line everything up. Personally, I believe that this is just meant for that last little bit of distance, so you don't crunch your bumper. But to line yourself up and to get into the spot, you should still be using mirrors. And if you don't know how to use mirrors, it's another story. But honestly, like, the front camera is great for lining yourself up, but if you're actually going to be using it to look at terrain that you haven't already scanned with your eyes, it's not going to be the best. You're not really going to know what the hell you're looking at unless you're coming over a crest and say you're just at the top of a hill and you can't see. This will help you at least know what you're looking at or what to expect in front of you, but it's not 100%, so be aware of that. The second feature that I really enjoyed and that I used a lot was the Off-Road Plus. And if you don't know what Off-Road Plus does, is it basically gives you a different like mapping, I guess, for your gears, so it holds the gears a lot longer. So basically, if you're on the throttle, it will not shift the gear. It knows that you're on the throttle, it keeps it in the power. It's not going to drop the power halfway through and shift into the next gear, unless you're like redlining it and bouncing off the limiter. I haven't really tried that. I haven't bounced off the limiter, so I can't really tell you if it shifts on its own at that point. But it won't shift gears unless you actually let off the throttle a little bit, and then it knows, okay, you're trying to either continue on or you're easing off, then it actually shifts gears. But when you're in the power, it will not shift gears. It knows you need that power. So that's one great thing about Off-Road Plus. The other thing that Off-Road Plus does is if you're in 4 high, it will automatically turn off traction control. If you're in 4 low, it'll turn off traction and stability control. If you're in 4 high or 4 low, it'll automatically do the gearing for you. It'll also, when you press the button, I don't think it'll work right now. Let's see, it might. Probably not, because I'm not in 4-wheel drive. So it's giving me the message over there that you have to be in 4-wheel drive. So regardless, when you press it, it'll bring up your off-road pages. And if you don't know what the off-road pages are, it basically gives you a whole bunch of tools that help you while you're off-roading. And I love the off-road pages for the simple fact of having everything in one place. And what do I mean by that is I have my trail cam. So I can go quickly to the trail cam. I close the trail cam, I'm still in my off-road pages. Gives me my pitch and my roll, which is actually super helpful. This is actually super good when you're on a off-camber obstacle and you want to know, am I too off-camber? Can I keep going? Should I slow down? What should I do? You can see exactly how much degrees of tilt or how much degrees of pitch you have, or roll I should say, and it honestly helps you out a lot. So I went as far as 21 degrees of roll. I don't know how much pitch I had, but I was more watching the roll because you don't want to roll it. The pitch is basically just how steep something is, but I had it up to 21 degrees of roll at one point. Oh, sorry guys, I clicked something with my finger there. The other nice thing about the off-road pages is all of your accessory gauges. You can see your coolant temp, oil temp, battery temperature, battery voltage, trans temp, and oil pressure all in one spot right away. You can see if you're in 2 high, 4 low. You can go to your drivetrain. This will tell you if your sway bar is connected, if any of your axles are locked, if you're in 4 high, 2 high, whatever your drivetrain is set to, as well as your steering angle. So this is great because say you're on an obstacle and your wheel looks like this, but really it's already been turned an entire turn. And because you're going so slow and you're looking at different things and you're watching different things, you might not notice that it's actually turned. And just because it's straight doesn't always mean that your wheels are straight. So it's great to have that confirmation there just so you can check. Yeah, I love that everything is there all in one spot. And that is basically what Off-Road Plus does. While we were off-roading this weekend, I did not get a chance to use my front and rear lockers at all because I didn't need them. I wasn't going to just turn them on just because I felt like I wanted to turn them on. I honestly wanted to make sure that I was actually going to use them and I needed them. And I never came into a situation where my tires slipped or I needed to actually engage them. Because we were on a pretty moderate trail, it wasn't anything crazy, but I never had to actually engage those. So I can't really tell you how well or how not well they work because I didn't go through the process. But I did use the sway bar disconnect, and the sway bar disconnect was great. The sway bar disconnect was awesome because I come from riding in a TJ, and in the TJ you either don't have a sway bar disconnect or you're going out there and you're doing it yourself. And I'm not too sure if the Rubicons back then had a sway bar disconnect. I think they might have. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. I never had the luxury of having a TJ Rubicon, and I don't know too many people that do. They're pretty rare actually these days. So I always had to go out and do it manually, and I would get dirty and greasy, and if it was winter time, you would get cold, and it wasn't a great experience. It wasn't fun. And you'll see if I ever take the TJ off-road, I'll show you guys what I mean, because I still take that thing off-road. But this was a lot easier. I pressed it while I was still rolling at a slow speed, and it engaged, took the sway bar right out, and you could feel it right away. The vehicle kind of shifted. If you've ever seen those videos of the Bronco in like an off-camber situation and people press the button and it kind of just settles itself, it was exactly like that. It honestly did. Maybe I wasn't in a crazy off-camber situation like that, but it wasn't perfectly level and it ended up disengaging for me and it settled itself really nice. And that's a great feature. I love that feature because, like I said, I don't have to get out and get dirty and get nasty. And if you're paying that much for a Jeep and you have a nice luxury Jeep, or luxury Jeep these days, this thing compared to what I have at home and with my other one, the yellow one, this is a luxury Jeep. So definitely you should have something like that. And I know that they've been putting these in JKs, and they fail, they don't fail, depending on what kind of terrain and how you treat them. Honestly, I'm happy to have it. If I have to take it apart and clean it one day, that's better for me than having to get out every single time, in my opinion. But I guess only time will tell. The other thing that I really enjoyed that I actually didn't remember that was there until probably my last quarter of the trip on the way out is the, well, I don't even know the real name for it, but it's like the trail speed control. I think it's called trail speed control. It's basically a cruise control that works when you're in 4 low. And what happens is when you engage the trail cruise control, or the trail speed control, which is this little guy right here, once you engage that, basically on your dashboard there, because I'm in Canada here, mine's in kilometers per hour, you get the choice of 1 kilometer per hour, 1.5 kilometers per hour, 2, 3, then it goes 4, 6, 8. So basically I think there's 6 or 7 selections, I can't remember exactly, but you get a good amount of selections all the way up to 8 kilometers per hour. So I believe that's about 5 or 6 miles per hour. And the beauty of this is when you're actually cruising and when you're actually going on the trail, say you're going down something, or say you're going through a rock garden and it's constantly uneven and up and down and up and down. When you hit the trail cruise control, you control your speed with your stick here, you put it into the manual mode, and you can control which level of speed you want. Once you control the speed, you can still hit the brake and it'll stop completely. Once you let go of the brake, it'll continue to go at that speed that you chose. The beauty of this is when you're actually going, it's at constant speed. So as the vehicle is jostling around, moving around, bumping around, your foot isn't sitting there perfectly straight. It's kind of moving around with the vehicle. And this will keep it at a constant speed. It'll apply brakes on all 4 tires. It'll apply throttle. It'll do everything it needs to do to keep you at that speed that you chose, which is great because you can focus on steering and taking the right line. And if you need to, you can slow yourself down by either choosing a slower speed with the manual shifter here, or by pressing the brake. And the beauty of that is you can actually focus on your line and you can keep going at a constant speed, and it's not jerky faster and slower because of your foot. It's going to be constant, it's going to be smooth, and it's going to be easier on you and the vehicle. I tried it out and I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't use it for very long because at the end of the day, I come from a TJ where I used to drive manual and everything I did was manual. So I still wanted to try out all these different features, but I don't know if I'm gonna rely on something like that. This is nice for if you're on a trail where it is super rocky and you're going through a rock garden where it's just constantly little boulders and bigger boulders and rocks and stuff that you gotta go through. That is perfect for that because it'll keep you at a constant speed without you having to actually try to keep your foot steady, and you'll be able to glide through and just focus on steering. For that, I love it. For actually climbing and doing other things and obstacles, obviously you want to be in control. Then you can either set the gear you want or just set it to off-road plus and just let it do its thing. But the one other thing that I enjoy about having that is going down a steep descent. Even if you're in 4 low and you're going down a steep grade, sometimes it will actually continue to pick up speed even though you're in 4 low, depending on how steep of a grade and how heavy of a vehicle you're driving. When you have it in 4 low and you start applying brakes, it might lock up the tires sometimes. And you don't want to lock up the tires, especially when you're going down something that has a loose surface, because then you'll start to slide. The best part is when you have this, it'll keep you at that constant speed. So it'll apply brakes, but it won't apply enough brake that it'll lock up the tires. It just slows you down to that same speed. So you don't have the chance of sliding out. So if you're new to off-roading and you're kind of unsure, this can save your butt a lot. And you can honestly rely on this a lot. Like I said, I'm not someone that's going to rely on this, but I think that it's great that it's there. And I love the fact that I have that option if I need it. Now, if you guys watched the last few videos, then you'll definitely remember how the body looked. And it looked like it had scratches all over the place and it was pretty mangled up. But after I washed it, there is water spots. Don't judge me, I don't wash perfectly, but it honestly looks amazing. I drove down the street after, and there was all kinds of gravel and stuff getting thrown up at the vehicle, and I heard it going all over the side, and luckily there is absolutely nothing there. Like, the paint is great. There's no chips, no stone chips, no nothing. Even the hinges, which are super prone to getting stone chips, are mint. And I'm super stoked that everything worked out and that the Jeep came out as it did, because it's brand new. I want to keep it nice. Now, a few things that we did do were we touched the fender down here. You can see there's a little bit of scratches here and a little bit of scratches here, but to be honest, that's pretty much expected, and even the slider is still unscathed. I don't think we touched it anywhere, maybe right here once, but other than that, it's looking pretty mint. The bumper, nothing happened to the bumper anywhere. We did touch the trailer hitch once, as you can see right here. Nothing too crazy, nothing that a little rattle can won't fix. I'll go around and I'll fix anything that I see after. Let me see if I can get a better shot of that. There we go. Now you guys can actually see it. But like I said, I'll go around with a rattle can and I'll hit anything that I need to. But so far, everything is looking pretty good. And let me grab a creeper and we'll get underneath and we'll take a look at the sliders and the underbody. Oh, it's tight in here. I honestly need to ride that thing more. I haven't been out enough, but can you blame me? All right, let's see. All right, so I can already see some damage right here. We definitely touched this cross member. I don't know exactly what this does. Maybe it's just there for rigidity, but you can see nothing is connected to it. It kind of just floats there. It does have a piece that connects it to the middle of the frame there, but other than that, I'm not too sure what that's even for, if it's for anything. So I'm not gonna really stress that we kind of touched it here and here, but what I will do is throw on some paint with the rattle can, just so that it doesn't look so bad and it doesn't start rusting right away. But I don't know if this is steel or aluminum. Either way, this piece will get painted. The sliders we definitely did use, but I don't think I see anything. Like, maybe we touched it there, I don't know. These things are painted pretty well from factory, so I don't think we'll see anything on them, but looks like we did touch our lower control arm mount here, and I think I remember that pretty well. I know exactly where that happened, and it is what it is. Shit happens. We've got a little mark here and a little mark here. Let's keep looking, but I don't think I see anything else. Let's go take a look at the frame and the slider on the other side. Oh, all right, let's see. What do we got here? So the sliders look pretty mint. Honestly, I don't see anything worth mentioning. Like, I know we've touched them a couple times, but they're coated pretty damn well. So I don't really have anything to show you on there. Sorry guys. Sorry to disappoint. But let's see. Oh, we definitely touched our gas tank skid right here, here, and here. Nothing too crazy. I think we also did crush this on this side a little bit, but that's okay. That's the same cross member from the other side. Oh, actually no, that's the same cross member from the other side. So this is a different cross member which holds up our transfer case skid plate. So this actually does have a function. That one, I'm not too sure what its function is, but either way, nothing detrimental. Oh, what the fuck? This thing just shit itself. There we go. Yeah, so a little bit more on the skid plate here at the front, a little bit on the skid plate at the back. Transfer case skid plate. Looks like it caught one too. Nah, nothing too bad. To be honest with you, it's to be expected. I knew that I was gonna touch the underbody some way. And we also touched here on the front lower control arm mount. And on our friend, our heavy duty mud flap. And no, this isn't a heavy duty mud flap, I'm being sarcastic. What this piece of shit is a new part that they've been adding on to Gladiators recently for front quarter collision testing. And when you have a front quarter collision, this prevents the tire here from going underneath and your whole Jeep doing a kickflip. Which is great if you plan on keeping your Jeep stock, or if you don't have a Rubicon and you're never going to put on bigger tires and go off-roading. But on a Rubicon, I honestly think they shouldn't include this because this hinders you when you're going off-road. As you can see, I've already hit it. And we can keep grinding it down off-road, but I think I'm going to have to end up removing it. And I have tried removing it, and oh, Jeep puts these fun bolts for you right here behind the body. All the way tucked in there, there's 2 bolts. And basically what you have to do to get these 2 bolts out is either take the body off or back them out, cut the heads off and continue to back them out. Or once you cut the heads off, you can probably slide this piece off once you get these 3 bolts out. The only issue is this guy is fucking welded to your frame, as you can see here. Bastard. I tried to take this shit out, and without luck, obviously, I had to put the bolts back in because, one, I couldn't get this out between the body over here, these 2, right here, these 2 bolts, and our friend over here is still welded in. So, oh, let me get some more room. So even though I can get the heavy-duty mud flap part out, I still have this sharp edge that's gonna be protruding into my wheel well, and I can guarantee you once I start getting bigger tires and I start stuffing them in here when I'm off-roading, this is going to come into contact. So I think what I'm going to end up doing, and if you guys have a new Gladiator, please go and check if you guys have this guy, because I want to know, because I haven't seen another Gladiator yet with it. I know I have it, and I know that I've seen it on the forums, but I haven't seen one in person. So if you have this piece of shit, let me know, because I will be removing it, and if you want to see me remove it and how to remove yours, then definitely I will make a video for you guys. But this is going to be a pain in the ass. I'm going to have to basically take these bolts out, cut them like I said, from this side I guess. I'll have to take out all this trim and all of this shit, probably take the sliders off, cut those 2 bolts, remove those 3, take this piece off, and then either grind down or cut those tack welds, or just cut off this entire flange. It's not going to be fun, but it's got to get done. And that's the end of that bullshit. Everything else looks okay. I think we did touch on our bottom control arm mount here. Maybe that's just dirt. I think it's just dirt, to be honest with you. We didn't touch our diffs on anything. We didn't touch our exhaust on anything, luckily, somehow. Even though we touched the cross member that's right behind the exhaust, I guess it saved it for us. Yeah, I would say we came out of this pretty damn easy. But like I said, this was a pretty moderate trail. Control arm mount on this side got a little bit of love too. But I will be getting new skid plates. I will be getting a full belly pan. But something like that costs as much as a lift kit. So I will be doing the lift kit first. And then we'll be getting the belly pan, because these aren't beat up enough that they're actually affecting anything. Once we start beating the crap out of them and they're all dented up and they start looking bad, then definitely we will replace them and we'll start putting the belly pan on. but I'm gonna focus on doing the lift first. These I can get pretty cheap. The skid plates for the lower control arms, all 4, as well as the shocks, because I didn't touch mine yet. But trust me, this is the next spot that you're gonna be rubbing, is right here, because look how low it is. So I will be getting something for the lower control arms as well as for the shocks, and I think we should be good. And just like that, we're all done. So I basically went around, wiped down, and painted all of the skid plates that were damaged, as well as the cross members. So you guys remember how this guy looked. And basically, easy job. You just go around with a cloth, because I'm not going to be cleaning everything. Just wipe down the stuff that you see that you need painted, clean it off, paint it. That was not me. That is the undercoating from the factory. Yeah, I know, amazing job. But basically, our painting is done. And the only other thing that I really want to tell you guys, if you're planning to take your Gladiator off-road, is make sure you get yourself some kind of storage that is dust-proof and waterproof. Because this guy, the tonneau cover that I have, or pretty much any tonneau cover, is not going to be waterproof and dust-proof 100%. So you can see I tried my best to clean it out in here. There is still a bit of dirt here and there, but overall she is pretty damn clean. I did have this bag back here while we were off-roading, and this is the Freedom Panel storage bag. If you don't know what this is, it is for those 2 panels in the front that come out over the driver and passenger side. But this thing was dusty, like it was caked. So this shit got dusty as hell back here. Everything in here was disgusting. So I ended up going and washing this thing out and scrubbing this thing out, and basically now it's clean. But anything you have back here, whether it be tools or gear or just your bags full of clothes or whatever it may be, it will get dusty. If your bag is zipped up, the bag inside, like whatever's inside, will be okay, but everything else is gonna get filthy. And even with this, you'll see you get dust all in this rail. So I did clean it out as best as I could, but you will get all kinds of dirt and dust inside the bed, and that is simply because it doesn't seal perfectly in this area right here. So you will see a little bit of light coming through right there, and all along here. It is a little bit hard for me to get the angle, but you can see, especially if you don't have a bed liner, you will have a lot more. But basically that is why you have all of that coming in. And the reason I mention water is because if you go through any water crossings that go above that level right there, which is basically your load floor, it will come in through the corners, or it'll come in through the drains or the corners at the front. So you have to be aware of that and make sure you just pack everything in a way that you don't have to worry about your stuff getting ruined because of water or dust. So those are my initial thoughts. I honestly love this thing off-road. I love taking long climbs with it, or steep climbs with it. I think that it does super well even in its stock form, and I honestly cannot wait to upgrade it and throw on a bigger lift, some bigger tires, maybe some more capable sliders, because those are good, but they're not perfect. They're not something I would rely on for every trail. If you land too hard on those, you do have a chance of still damaging the vehicle. So I do want to get myself something a little bit stronger than that, and I think we will be adding on a few other things here and there as we go along, just so that we know exactly what we need. We'll wait until we test it some more and take it off-road, and we'll basically mod it as we go for our uses. And right now she does great. I cannot wait to keep testing it. I do plan on lifting it sooner than later, but right now I think I'm going to keep driving it as it is, and we'll see exactly what we can get into. Now, if you guys have any other video suggestions or anything you guys want to know or anything you guys want to see with the Gladiator or with the TJ, then definitely drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys want to see, and I will hopefully deliver. But right now, I think that's pretty much everything that I've thought of. I will give you guys more of a update and more of just good things and bad things about taking this thing off-road once I take it off-road some more. But right now, that's pretty much all that I can really give you guys. So hopefully it was an informative video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the last two videos where we took it off-road. Like I said, it was a modest trail. It was a moderate trail. I'm not going to take this thing all out at the first time or on its first trail. So we will build our way up and work our way up to more challenging and interesting trails. So if you guys have any suggestions, or if you guys want to see anything specific, let me know. But until then, guys, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. If you're new around here, jump down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, ride safe out there. Peace.